you from Bangalore CDC, and joining us now is Mahadeshvi, Director STPI. Thank you so much for joining us at W Media, sir. Could you begin by telling us a little bit about your journey as a technocrat? Because you've been working in diverse fields across India and now specifically in this state. What has this journey been like?
So the journey has been quite exciting to me. So I started my career as my network engineer in the Software Technology Parks of India in the way 2021. So ever since I've seen the transformation which actually government actually pushed to happen to make the lives of the citizens, okay, pan India, to the level where actually to take them into a different level to make it equitable society. So with that, when I started STPI career, we started working on basically setting up of networks and VSATs and different technologies, basically giving a connectivity so as to make sure that India creates a necessary ecosystem in terms of bringing forex into the India. And these entities means software companies and IT companies, they produce a lot of software development happens here and export it to other countries so as to bring forex to India. That was a objective of the MIT, which Software Technology Parks of India implemented the scheme STP and ESTP schemes. And ever since I worked with the government of India as STPI person, and today I taken up the role of program director Center for Eagerness. In the last 4 years I've been supporting the state government in Karnataka for various its digital initiatives so as to basically enhance the governance part to leveraging the technologies part. So with that last 24 years of journey, I worked both government of India as well as Karnataka government, almost like 50% to make basically contribute to my experiences to make this kind of a end objective to be touched upon.
That is very interesting, because digital transformation in India and e-governance especially, that has now gradually, of course, the attempt is made to reach the last person, the poorest of the poor, the most underprivileged people. So what have you observed? How has that journey taken place? How has digital transformation empowered e-governance and eventually the Indian who needs it the most?
Yeah. So when you talk about, I'll have to give two perspectives from the point of business point of view and from the point of the citizens point of view. So for business entities like software companies, startup ecosystem, startup companies in India, and so how do you make basically India in terms of vibrant country across the globe in terms of producing the softwares. So India has been taken a leadership role, especially when it comes to Karnataka. Has been this Bangalore has been called as the Silicon Valley of the India. Okay, and of course, so with this kind of a thing, this is kind of a thing where we have to create a kind of a technologies which in turn creates employment to the employment to the youth in India. So today, India is actually producing about 5 million workforce, of which almost like Bangalore accounts for almost like 20% of the lion's share. So when it comes to the software development and software exports, again, Karnataka has been taking a lion's share of almost 30% of the total 30 to 40% of the total country's exports when it comes to software exports. That's from the point of completely from the point of technology and generation of the employment to the youth of India. When it comes to the governance point, basically to take up this kind of a government machinery to the end users or citizens, which is on the last mile grassroots level. So in terms of be it on the government to government services, government to business services, government to citizen services. So when you talk about that, governance has been basically playing a phenomenal role. Government has been doing a phenomenal role both at the national level as well as state levels to so as to make an inclusive society. So with that, government has taken a role, as you know that many of the initiatives in terms of Digital India Mission, Make in India missions, and as well as creating a kind of a gate as a digital public infrastructure, which is actually boiled around all that to make kind of a citizen's life easier in terms of that. So when you talk about, for example, Make in India product, government actually pushes a lot in terms of basically creating indigenous basically software. Today, earlier it was software services. Today is more focused on product, building the product around that. Okay.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I want to know more about the initiatives that serve the micro, small, and medium enterprises who are coming up in the field of technology. Because
Correct.
not everyone has big money, not everyone has
Correct.
big investments.
Correct.
So, what are some of those initiatives?
See, when it comes to creating earlier, as I said, initially we actually our mindset was more about this one generating kind of a revenues from the software services point of view.
True.
Today is actually we wanted to make it product nation, so we wanted to build our own operating system. We have to build our own digital public infrastructure, which can be one is to make consume those kind of technologies within India to address the requirement of the every individual and as well business entities. But at the same time, how do we make India as a product nation to serve rest of the world? So that is a Make in India talks about it, and make it self sustainable. And our digital system should not be kind of imported, and we have to make it net zero imports. Okay, so in that, Make in India has taken the initiatives. Lot of trust has been given in terms of incentivizing, in terms of creating a talent pool, in terms of basically making those kind of a lands ease of doing businesses. There are many such things actually lined up already, which is already action. We are seeing those kind of an actions. EMC clusters are being set up. There are fiscal policy incentives, basically PLI, product linked incentives, where I was glad to say that I am also part of the various committees to give inputs to the committee policy making. So under Digital India Mission, India BPO promotion scheme, where I was again glad to say that government has generated about enabled generation of employment to the tune of 1.5 lakh employment pan India. So there are many such initiatives, and we can still look at fiberization of the BTS, which telecom service providers have put, and rate of way of laying the fiber optics to reach and every villages. Today, almost like 95% of the all the gram panchayats village level fiberization is already done. So this is what actually we want to bridge the gap between digital apps and have-nots. So which is actually connected. Today, citizens across the globe, across this India, are actually connected to the digital side. That's why actually we are seeing about almost like more than 50% of the Indian populations are active users of the internet. So which is basically what it means is, how do we deliver the government services to the citizens, okay, in much more effective way. We wanted to make it, we know the data of the citizens, that we don't have to ask for the repeated data documentation.
Do you think AI can play a role in that? Because you have mountains and mountains of data, but what to do with it, how to process it, how to utilize it? Do you see a role for AI and ML, machine learning?
Yeah, so when it comes to digital side, public delivery side, so today we have about hundreds of applications developed by many of the entities to make citizens accessible to government services, avail those kind of services. So those gone are the days used to take lot of documentation from the individuals, because it's a repetitive work. When you go to the government services, A department to B department, department B ask for the same kind of a document which is already asked by the A department.
It was a bureaucratic nightmare.
So we are with the application side, we reduce a lot. Our intent is to basically reduce paperwork. It's a zero paperwork, and reduce the kind of a person going to the post pillar to make this kind of a services available, and at the same time bring this kind of a services to the doorstep of the citizens. So with which we are actually ambitious kind of, Karnataka has actually availed Janaspandana, where actually Janasevak. So Janasevak actually where the citizens, like you must have seen pizza order, right? Person actually ordered for pizza. So this Swiggy or any other vendors go and deliver this. Today, government is delivering citizen services to its neighbors in the same model of where actually PhD is doing it.
Can you give an example?
So Jana Sevaka is one of the ambitious project of Government of Karnataka, where Jana Sevaka, for example, if I have to get my birth certificate or my income certificate, I can just call the number. Okay, call the number where actually my request will be registered, and there is an SLA driven approach where the government actually representatives, means actually we have actually had a kind of entity, they give this kind of services to the citizens at his doorsteps. It will be made available within the time set. That's the Jana Sevaka application. For example, student scholarship. Student scholarship, where many of the departments actually sponsoring departments for the students. in terms of scholarship. We have put a scholarship schemes that's called student scholarship portals. We have put portal for that. Direct benefit transfers. All these beneficiaries amounts are credited to accounts of the
True,
this one.
true,
So all
true.
that there are many such applications have been rolled out. Today we have quite a few, about nearing to about thousands of applications.
No, but
So
are
AI.
these empowered by AI? That's my
So when it comes to the AI part, so today what it's doing is some of the things are repetitive in nature. Where actually government don't have to really invest a lot of time and efforts in making sure that it's repetitive work. Why should anybody can do that? Government entities have to do it. Instead, offload those kind of things to the AI engine. It does kind of a mundane works, repetitive works, identifies for that. Yes, we're in that taking the baby steps in making sure that AI can play a big role in terms of leveraging the technologies, right technologies. It will be much more responsible, ethical AI. At the same time, within the framework of the regulatory framework, what best we can give it to them, so as to citizens and end user experience can be enhanced. At the same time, it should be enabling government to take quicker decisions. Okay, that's where AI can play a bigger role. I am sure that you must have heard government of India already initiated in terms of AI India, India and policy last year, and it talks about basically about 10,000 crores of investment going to the GPU servers and all. Okay, so what it talks about is government is also basically playing a critical role in harnessing the potential of AI in making the lives easier, citizens' life easier, and enhance the governance and reduce the government. So that's why AI can play an excellent role in this one. I'm very positive about it. I'm also excited to work in the AI segment for the government. Yes.
perfect. Finally, sir, W Media is now in its seventh year, and this is the second time you are
Yeah.
coming for one of our events. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about your experience with W Media and if you have a message for us.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. This is has been quite a good experience for me, because it's all in the technology area. We'll have to basically collaborate and exchange our ideas, and also work towards the whole end objective of the society and government at the government. So that has been a quite enriching experiences in participating in the events actually conducted by Double Media. And the first event actually it was about more about data center and cloud those times, about before the COVID. And what is actually today happening before the COVID and after the COVID is almost like 5x. Today we talk about more about consolidation of the data centers, talk about more about cloud technologies, talk about basically how do you optimize the infrastructure which is available to this one. So it's about more about convergence of the technologies, and so AI can also play an excellent role. I'm sure that WMA Media can bring right stakeholders, think tankers to the same area, so as to make regulatories authorities to which is also business viable. At the same time, the government regulations and basically compliances also be taken care in this one, and also reduce the carbon footprints in order to make it because climate change is one of the everybody is, I think every country is not going to be like left apart. I think it's a time that how technology can also play excellent role in terms of natural disaster recovery. This one, how do we address those kind of challenges, reduce the CO2, all that. So I'm sure that WMedia can play an excellent role in bringing the stakeholders and also have a brainstorming sessions around that, and also give those kind of inputs to the government to make policy making as well.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to you.
Yeah.
Thank you for this interview. We'll bring you many more such interviews from W Media's Bangalore CDC, so stay tuned.
Thank you.